seriously, I don't think people truly understand what XRP is. And I could put myself into that category. I've gone on, a long journey here where I'm just kind of progressively learning about XRP and what it is. I'm not in the studio right now, obviously. I'm out of the studio all week, so the filming is going to be a little bit weird, but I thought I would go into this idea of what XRP is, what value is, and exactly what raises the price of an XRP. Because as you saw in the video yesterday, that massive mega podcast with all the great guests, you can actually go into the corner there, click the I if you want to go and watch that. Do it at the end of this video though, or not, or come back to this video, I don't care. The whole topic of technically, what is value? Where does value reside if it lives anywhere? Where is it held? How do we even determine value? These are all questions that I've been having in my head and I've never really got solidly to the answer. And so I was on a WhatsApp back and forth with one of the subscribers, fantastic guy, but I don't know if he wants to remain anonymous or whatever, so I'm just going to keep it secret. He was kind of resonating with me and my desire to understand what value was. How do we get this concept that XRP's price is going to go up by having value on the ledger? Something wasn't clicking for both of us, and so we worked through it. We kind of looked through analogies and everything to kind of put this right in our heads so I could deliver this message. And, this might go contrary to what everyone's been believing or even hoping to believe. But I actually think this is incredibly optimistic, what I'm about to say, even though you might potentially think this is a more negative thing to say. I don't know how long this is going to go on. This is just me talking out my brain. We're not really editing this video much, so you'll have to bear with me. Let's talk about, first of all, when people say we're tokenizing assets on the XRP ledger. So let's say we do that. Let's say we put my house on the XRP ledger. And let's say, for example, my house is worth £400,000, right? Let's just say that. If I tokenize my house and put it on the blockchain, specifically XRP ledger, it just sits there. What is the value? How do we know that my house is worth anything? Well, I know that potentially somebody would pay £400,000 for it, but sitting there, it's not doing anything. And this is really, really important. If it's not doing anything, it's not using XRP. It's just sat there with the promise of value moving forward. Now, the thing about my house is that it provides tremendous value to me as I live in it. It gives me a roof over my head. It gives me a place for me to raise my child and be with my family. It allows me to work, all of these things. It has tremendous value to me day in, day out because of what it can do for me. But I don't realize the financial value of that asset until it's sold, right? I don't get the money in the bank until I sell it. So there are two types of value here. There is utility value, right? What the value that it is to me to use the utility of the asset, the house to live in, as I've said. And then there's the monetary value, the financial value of that asset, which can only be unlocked when it's sold. And in the conversation I used, a phone, my iPhone, right? My iPhone has a value on the market, but its value to me right now, in terms of I can make calls, I can do social media, whatever I want to do on my phone, that to me has a higher value right now than selling the iPhone for financial gain. But it has a financial value, but it's not accessed until I sell it. There's lots of different assets you can use, basically any asset. And so when we look at XRP, and XRP is used specifically, like its utility allows people to be able to transact in 3 to 5 seconds very, very quickly, right? Just like my house allows me to have a roof over my head and stay safe and stay warm. XRP allows me the opportunity to transact at super low costs. And this is where it starts to bend the brain, because assets added to the ledger, they sit there and they don't move. Therefore, they don't use XRP. If when we use XRP is taken out of circulation for 3 to 5 seconds or however long the transaction happens, it's only during that time, that 3 to 5 seconds, where that specific amount of XRP is taken out of circulation. Therefore, there are less XRP in the pool for other people to use. Therefore, the price of the XRP goes up because there are less tokens for those 3 to 5 seconds. But 3 to 5 seconds later, the value is not moving again. XRP is not being used. XRP isn't being taken out of circulation. So looking at value held on the ledger, to me, isn't a sustainable way to increase the XRP price unless, this is a big unless, you have lots of assets tokenized, represented on the ledger, all the houses, all of everything you can ever think of, all the broccoli, all the potatoes, all the computers, all the value is held on the ledger. And just by the sheer amount of things that are held on the ledger, that would result in a price of an XRP going up, only because 3 to 5 seconds per transaction of every asset ever would be a lot of transactions all the time happening. And it would be that constant flow of value, the constant flow of these assets moving all around, the constant transactions that would allow the price to be high. And I understand that. I can't comprehend how many transactions that is actually in reality. Like, I can't comprehend that. I don't think actually anyone can. The amount of transactions required to keep the price up, because there is constantly XRP being taken out of circulation and used in transaction, it's mind-blowing. There's so many transactions required for that, to keep that sustainable 24/7, without it being, this fluctuation thing that we really don't want to see, right? So I'm struggling with the idea of a stable priced XRP. Seriously, I'm really struggling with this. A stable price for XRP purely based on the movement of value, okay? Especially at that scale, I'm struggling to see it in my head. However, here's where it gets a little bit juicy, I think. What if there was such a situation where people who had XRP bought XRP because they understand what it can do for them, right? XRP, again, allows institutions, allows people to be able to send vast amounts of value in 3 to 5 seconds, very quickly, uncostly. It doesn't cost very much, and it's extremely efficient and there's no friction, right? These are all problems that the institutions are seeing right now. So at some point, it would make sense for people or institutions, let's say, to just buy up loads of XRP, right? So they buy up all the XRP, bringing XRP out of circulation permanently, but also allowing them to facilitate transactions of the assets that are on the ledger very easily. In this instance, XRP is serving the utility value, just like my phone's utility is to allow me to connect to the internet. My home's utilities allow me to stay warm and, under shelter. XRP's utility is to make those transactions very quickly, but its utility doesn't affect the price of the asset, right? It's kind of a bad example. Maybe housing's a better example, but if I hold on to my house for long enough, it's going to go up in value, right? My phone, I can't say the same for my phone, so it's not a perfect analogy. But if I just hold on to the asset and allow it to basically be out of supply, and people do that continually over the years, you reduce the amount that is in circulation, that is available to the public. You're also able to use it for all your transactions with its utility value. And in doing so, more is taken out of circulation because people are using it for its utility. And as you're using it for its utility, it's also going up in value because the transactions are taken more out of circulation as well. And so what you get is this combined effect where you have holding XRP on the ledger just for its utility and then using it also increasing the price. So before I conclude with the analogy that I've put together with the help of some ChatGPT there, because I was trying to get a succinct way to put this all together. But before I do that, I want to clarify one thing in my head. Value on the ledger that is not moving, that is tokenized, doesn't impact the price of an XRP directly. However, it does indirectly. So let's get into this analogy. So I want you to imagine that XRP is a car. And I know we use like the rails and vehicles for some reason, but it just makes the most sense. XRP is a car. Right now, the car And the utility and value of a car is to allow people to, let's say, go to their jobs. Right? It allows people to travel and commute to their work, to contribute to the economy and do their thing. But currently, the people who have the cars are people who don't have jobs in this imaginary world, right? We're using it, but the use case isn't really for us. Like, its true utility value isn't really for us. It's for big corporations, institutions to transact large amounts of payments. But for us, the public who own XRP, who own the car in this instance, aren't using it for its utility value. We're not using it to get to work because we're jobless. We don't have a job, or we don't have a use for the utility. And those who do have a use, the institutions, the banks, whatever, they don't own the cars because they can't own the cars yet, right? There's regulatory issues that there's in their way. It's an obstacle for them. So they actually can't own the car to use it for what it's actually supposed to be used for. And so the price of a car, an XRP token, is obviously low right now, right? Because the wrong people are using it. They're not using it at its intended use or at the volumes that it's intended to be used at. But when regulation comes in and the institutions are allowed to come in, the people with the jobs, they're not jobless like us, they come in with the jobs and the use for the car, the value gets unlocked, right? Because the XRP allows those individuals to move all around, to access their work, to travel to different locations. And let's talk about different locations now, shall we? Because value added onto the ledger, tokenized assets, projects built on the XRP ledger, all this kind of stuff are basically, imagine this one strip road all the way down. All the people, the institutions, they've now bought their cars. They've bought up all the cars, by the way. And when they buy up all the cars, what does that mean to the price of a car now, right? If you buy up all the XRP and there's none in circulation, what does that do to the XRP price, right? It goes up. So the car value is really high right now because they're all taken up. People without jobs can't actually even buy them anymore because they're too expensive. But along that long road, there are new shops popping up, right? There's a crowdfunding shop that pops up here, and there's gold just popped up here, and all these tokenized assets, everything, the whole world basically tokenized on the XRP ledger is just filling up these shops and skyscrapers along this road. And so those skyscrapers that are on the road don't increase the price of a car, right? Doesn't increase the price. The only thing that increases the price of a car is its scarcity. This is supply and demand, right? The demand for the car increases when there are more shops and more things to do on that road. So that the price of the car goes up when the demand for the car is higher because of all the things on the road. They are a secondary attraction, not the thing that adds value to the car, rather increasing the demand for the car itself, which in and of itself has a utility value to allow people with jobs, to allow institutions to transact efficiently, frictionless, very cheaply, and reliably. So I think this is the distinction that really needed to be made, and the way it got connected in my brain, and talking on WhatsApp here about that conversation, I think that way of putting things about XRP is the most valuable way to start to understand how XRP's value is actually affected. It's not by tokenizing assets or holding assets on the XRP ledger. It's by taking XRP out of circulation because of its utility value to enable institutions to make payments cheaply, quickly, and safely. And the more there is to do with that XRP on that road, the more buildings you can visit down that road, the higher the demand is for people to hold the XRP, because its utility gets even stronger when there's more to do on the ledger. Do we understand? I think that's probably the clearest way I can communicate it. I would love to know what you think. Of course, if you haven't watched that long video, that long podcast, when we talked about all of this and potentially a set price for XRP, click the video below me, because that's what the algorithm thinks you should watch next. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Thank you for being here. Stay motionless, and I'll see you in the next one.